So today I'm going to be sharing with you the recipe for this Ghana palava sauce, or Kontomire stew as we normally call it, with some Agushie or akatua. So come along with me and let's start. So here are my ingredients. I have already prepared, just for the sake of time. I have my kontomire here, which I've already cut and then washed with vinegar and then salt. I have my willy here, which is very well cleaned. I have tomatoes that I've also chopped, and then I have my smoked tuna with some Maggi cube and then shrimp powder, tablespoon of shrimp powder. I have Agushie, which I've already mixed with salt, and then I will be adding water to make a thick paste later. And then I have my almighty Momone, which is cured fish, and then onions. Then I have already blended my pepper, onion, ginger, and then garlic, which is already in the blender. And then I'll be adding a tablespoon of tomato paste because our tomatoes is small. So come along. And then we'll be using palm oil to make the stew today. Palm oil, original Zomi palm oil. So I'll be starting with this. So I start by pouring the palm oil into the saucepan, which I'm going to be using to make the stew. As you can see, it is Zomi, which is why it's very dark. So I'll wait for it to heat up for a little bit before I add my momone together with the onion. I'm going to leave this to cook for like 2 minutes for it to caramelize, and then the momone is going to disintegrate and then diffuse into the palm oil. So at this point the onion is a little bit cooked, and then the momone has already disintegrated and then diffused into the oil. So it's now ready for the next ingredient, which is the already blended pepper, onion, garlic, and then ginger, which is going in now. So after adding this, I am going to stir it evenly and then leave it on for a while to cook. I'm going to be adding a tablespoon of tomato paste to the stew because our fresh tomatoes is small, so I'm just going to add this just to thicken it up a little bit, and then I'm going to stir evenly to distribute it evenly and then leave it on for it to cook for some time. You want to make sure that you stir very well. Now I'm adding the shrimp powder because the tomato paste I added is very well cooked at this point, and then I'm going to stir very well. This has to go in before any other meat or the agushie. So I'm stirring now, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Then again, I checked on my kontomire, which is already boiling, and then it's now taking shape. So I'll leave it on the fire for some time, like say 3 more minutes, for it to be well cooked, not fully cooked because we'll be putting it back into the stew. So I'll leave it on for the fire to cook, and then we'll move on to the next. Now I'm adding fresh tomatoes to the stew, and then I'm going to stir very well, and then we are going to leave this on the fire for I think the next 2 minutes for it to cook. Then we'll come back. Time to check on it again. The tomatoes is cooking now. It's a little bit soft, so it's now time to add our willy for it to absorb all the juices. This is the perfect time to add the willy, so just take note. So we will also stir and then leave it on the fire for about 3 to 4 minutes. Our kontomire is very well cooked now to perfection. Time to add my Maggi cube. Mind you, I'm not taking salt now because of the momone. At this point I added the agushie and then I'm covering it. Now it's taking shape. You want it to clump very well. Since I added salt, it's going to clump very well for us to have that thickened agushie in the stew. It's going to be like eggs. And then we stir. You have to make sure to stir very gently so as not to disintegrate it all. And then we will leave it on the fire on a low heat. Actually, the agushie is now very well cooked. You see the chunks. Now it's time to add our tuna. You want to make sure to stir gently so it doesn't all break. You need it to be as the same size as it is. Stir very well, and then we will leave this on the fire to cook for some time before transferring our kontomire into the stew. It's now time to add the kontomire into the stew. So I just sieve it to drain the water, and then now look at that, so beautiful. Make sure to stir gently, and after it's all this, after stirring, you leave it on the fire for some time, and voila, we are done. You can have this with some rice or yam. I'm going to have this with yam later in the evening, and then the rest will go into the fridge. Thank you so much for watching, and then I'll see you next time with another video. Please like and comment, share, and then I'll be back.